It is December 1st and it is the first day of Vlogmas. I'm actually going to attempt to do this year. I have nothing planned because I just finished writing for NaNoWriMo last night. So I won. I met the challenge. My final draft came in at 50,464 words. And I didn't finish writing it until like 7 o'clock last night. So I have not really planned anything. We have no Christmas decorations up, much to the dismay of my 7-year-old, who is our own personal buddy, the elf. So I need to do that, but I feel like we had my older kids came for Thanksgiving with my son brought his girlfriend, and then one of my daughters brought her boyfriend. So we like cleaned and prepped the house for that, but I feel like I really want to make sure that like I clean before I get the Christmas decorations up. So I need to do that today, and yeah, we're just gonna play it by ear. I am going to film like some kind of like face-to-face, like standalone videos that are not vlogs. I don't really do that much, so I'm not sure how interesting these vlogs are going to be, but I thought that I would give it a go. So, welcome to Vlogmas. So, it is the first day of December, and I got this 12 copies of Christmas little, I don't know if it's like an kind of like an advent calendar, I guess. And since it is technically the first day of Vlogmas, I am going to try one today. I'm super excited about it. So I think I'm just going to start with the donut shop blend. And I wonder, I should like all of them. I don't know. Ooh, hot buttered rum. That sounds really good. And so does spiced eggnog. But we're just going to start simple on day one. Okay, the first pod of Christmas was Donut Shop, I think it was called, and it was really good. It actually reminds me of, and I think it reminds me a lot of White Castle's coffee. I don't know if White Castle's is just like a Midwest kind of thing, but like they have the really small like cheeseburgers, hamburgers, I think they're known for, and they're like square with a ton of onions. Anyway, my growing up, like White Castle still to this day, but as a kid, it just reminds me of my childhood because my dad loves White Castle's coffee, and he drinks his coffee black, which I don't even know, like, okay, go ahead with your hot bean water, but, and he loves White Castle's burgers too, but coffee was the thing, and I remember him, like, picking me up from school. I didn't ever ride the school bus. Well, I went to, I went to, like, a private kind of prep school, and so, like, kids from all over, it wasn't like a neighborhood school, so kids from every, like, all parts of the city, really anywhere, because I know, like, one of my best friends from school lived in Kentucky. I live in Ohio, she lived in Kentucky, which, like, Cincinnati is right on the river, so when I say, like, she lived in Kentucky, it's not like she lived hours away, but, to get to school, it probably was, like, a good hour drive for her parents until like we got old enough to drive ourselves. But so I never rode the school bus. My parents always took me to school, because when I started, I started at the school in kindergarten, and where we were living at the time was not in like the city of Cincinnati. It was like in a way northern suburb. And I think, like, I remember my mom telling me that to get me on like a school bus to, you know, ride the school bus to my school, my parents would have had to put me on the bus at like, I don't know, 6:45 or something in the morning, and it would still be dark sometimes. And so my mom said that like they were uncomfortable like putting me on the bus that early in the morning, having me be on the bus that early in the morning. I mean, I grew up like an only child. I have siblings, but they're like 20 years older than me. So, you know, I would just be there by myself. And I guess my mom didn't want to do that to me. So, and then I remember my dad would pick me up from school too. And he would always, this is a really long story about White Castle's coffee, but he would always have, like, on the way to pick me up from school, there was a White Castle, like, in the route that he took to get me. And so he would always stop and get a cup of coffee on his way to like pick me up from school in the afternoon. And so it just, anyway, that donut shop coffee pod reminds me of White Castle's coffee. My dad will still argue to this day at 91 years old that White Castle's is the best sort of fast food restaurant coffee you can get. I once tried to bring him some Starbucks and he was like, what is happening with this? No. So yeah, I am doing some stuff around the house. I do want to like film some stuff and then maybe try to run a quick errand before I have to pick Rowan up from school. My husband went back to work on Wednesday, so he had been remote since the pandemic started in last March. He's been home, and then I think at the end of August, September, he started going back into the office one day a week on Wednesday. And then, you know, there was like an uptick in cases, and he decided to stop going into the office and work from home, you know, again until we could get our 7-year-old vaccinated. And last night Rowan got his second COVID shot, so he is fully vaccinated. We are, my husband and I are both fully vaccinated. We've had our booster shots, we've had our flu shot, so fingers crossed we will have a safe winter in these parts. But yeah, that's all I'm really doing today. I do need to pull out the Christmas decoration. It doesn't really feel very festive because nothing is up, and we traditionally put our tree up on the Friday after Thanksgiving is when we used to get live trees, and we would go get the tree on Black Friday. And then a couple years ago, we went to Virginia for Thanksgiving because my daughter and son-in-law are in the Navy, and they were stationed in Virginia, and that was like the first Thanksgiving with our granddaughter. So we went down there, and we were there for like, we stayed from like Sunday to Sunday or Monday to Sunday or something like that. So we weren't home on Black Friday to go get our tree. So instead we decided to buy a Christmas tree, like an artificial Christmas tree, which I had resisted like all the years that my older kids were growing up. I just loved the idea of having a live Christmas tree. As a kid, like, Christmas was my mom's Super Bowl. Like, she went all out, but we always had artificial trees, and she would put up like, at the bare minimum, 2 trees. A lot of times it was like 3 or 4, and the whole house would be decorated up. Like, it was just her time to shine. And so, but a lot of my like friends growing up, they all had like real Christmas trees. And so that was like one of the things I said, like, when I grow up and have kids, we're just going to go out and get a tree every year. And so I had resisted that. Like, my kids grew up all of their childhood with having a live tree. We would go somewhere and pick one out and bring it home and that whole thing. And then the year that we weren't here, we decided to buy one, and it is so much easier. Well, first of all, I discovered that I am allergic to like pine trees, and yeah, like it happened. I didn't really think anything of it. I don't know why. Or maybe I did and I just can't remember. I don't know. But I'm allergic to pine trees. They make me break out in hives. I get red and itchy. Welts pop up on my arms and hands from like dragging it in the tree and like fluffing out the branches. I think when you're like, my hands actually got like red and swollen from doing it. The whole nine. But to me, I was like, it's worth the sacrifice because it's a real tree. But it is so much more convenient and so much less of a mess that I'm sold on artificial trees. So since we've gotten that tree, well, last year I think I put the Christmas stuff out even before Thanksgiving because fuck it, YOLO, like 2020 was a hot mess, and what else were we gonna do? But yeah, nothing's up, and my son's not real happy about it. So I do need to drag the stuff up from the basement and start putting it together. I think a lot of it is just me like motivating myself to do it, because it's like a lot. And if you are, I mean, traditionally it's like the moms who do the stuff, but whoever you are in your house, if you are responsible for, you know, letting the Christmas magic out, then like I feel your pain, because it can be a drag. Once it's up, I love it and I'm happy, but getting it up and putting it away are like my two least favorite things to do. So yeah, I'm going to stop talking and figure out what the hell I need to do next, and yeah, do that.
You don't want to play with my new toy? I do not want to play with your new toy. I want to play with you. Friends are more fun than toys. You're it. No, you're it. The end.
Good morning. It is Tuesday, December 2nd. So I think the way that I'm going to do Vlogmas is to probably post like every 2 or 3 days. Just because I think that'll be a little bit easier for me. I'm not exactly sure. Anyway, I just dropped Rowan off at school and I am going to stop and get Starbucks for me and my husband before I go back home. And I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do today. I mean, I still haven't brought the Christmas decorations up. I didn't do it yesterday. So I definitely need to do that. I'm trying to figure out, I think that my husband's taking Rowan to a football game on Saturday, or at least that was the plan, but I don't know. He was saying something like about the tickets or something. I don't know. Sometimes when he talks about things that aren't super interesting to me, I'm not always listening at 100%, but I think he was going like with one of his friends called and asked if if we wanted to go to the game. My husband is a UC fan. He graduated from UC. Our daughter graduated from UC. Oh my God, there's no line at Starbucks this morning. Wow. But I am not a fan of football. I'm not a fan of peopling during a pandemic. I don't know. So he was like, well, maybe I'll take Rowan, because our son has decided that he absolutely loves football. Oh, hang on. I ordered my husband's drink, and then I went to order mine, but I usually get a grande. Like my husband got an iced, he got a frappuccino, but I'm getting the chestnut praline, which is really good. It's like one of their holiday flavors. But I got it hot, and they only have lids for their tall size drinks. That's the biggest size that they can do. I should have gotten 2 of them, huh? I didn't think of that. Oh well. But yeah, I always think it's like funny when you're like going to get coffee and there's like something, you have to do something different because of whatever, but I can't I haven't had coffee yet, so I can't really like think, and so I probably sat there for like way longer than I needed to when they were asking me like if the like smaller size was okay, because I'm really tired. Sleep has not been great, and both the child and the dog found their way into our bed at some point during the night, so that also isn't helpful. So yeah, which is probably why I have not yet figured out what I need to do today. I need to like sit down and make a list of things. Yeah, so I will probably check back in. Okay, we brought Christmas up. Still haven't done anything yet, but I think that I am going to end the vlog here and figure out what to do next. I did want to do like a song of the day for Christmas. And since this is like 2 days, I thought that I would pick 2 songs, and I will have them on a Spotify playlist linked below. So the first one is, so obviously like All I Want for Christmas by Mariah Carey is a classic and one of my favorite songs, and I love Mariah Carey. But like the other day, my husband sent me this link to like Dave Grohl. Dave Grohl is like performing songs for Hanukkah, and he like sent me this link to one of them, and it was Lisa Loeb, which sent me down like a whole, oh my god, these are like all people I used to listen to back in the day, which made me search out some of Ingrid Michaelson's music, who I used to really love. And I found out that she has a Christmas song with Leslie Odom Jr., who I also really love. He was the original Aaron Burr on Broadway and Hamilton, and I absolutely just like love him. So they have their version of Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas that I love. After I found it, I think I've listened to it to like a dozen times, And then the second pick is We Need a Little Christmas by Pentatonics. I like Pentatonics, and I think it might be like the perfect song to get me in the mood to like Christmas up the house. So that is all for the first 2 days of Vlogmas, and if you like this video and want to see more of what happens here during the holidays, then click the subscribe button down below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and I will see you next time. Bye.